So, okay, let's get into the good stuff. I am keen to show you some customer segments, some audiences that should be your main focus this shopping season, in case, of course, that you have figured out the iOS 14.5 part and also the shipping situation. So, three audiences that you should focus on this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're going to talk first about subscribers, then we're going to talk about first time buyers, and then we're going to talk about these Facebook lookalike audiences that now under iOS 14.5 are a bit degraded, but with using advanced segmentation, we might be able to get them to work for us. Cool. So let's talk about subscribers. When a visitor becomes a subscriber, you definitely want to know as much as possible about them as they wish to learn more about you. So you probably already have a nurturing campaigns that help you, offer different types of value or educational content and, advice personalized, on their needs or interest. If you don't, you should. I want to show you an example that I have from a company called Form Toro. And this brand that they have a case study with is called Krakatoa Underwear. So they are using this plug from Form Toro. The strategy just being allowing them basically to segment the subscribers before sending out the first email, creating a personalized journey from the start, which leads to higher open rate and engagement. And I just want to say before we get into this, actually, let's get into this. So I want to tell you that when something that you should consider when you are doing because right now everybody is a fan of surveys and pop-ups and quizzes and zero party data, and they're talking about how they're collecting this data to personalize the user journey. But the problem is that to make sure that you can create different types of behavior in your customer, you have to have, motivation. The customers have to be motivated to take action. Like there's like the part, it's Fox behavioral model where you should be able to create motivation through your sales copy, through your social proof, to whatever happens on the website to make sure that people would eventually do what they came to do, because people come to your website with a mission. They are there on a job, they want to accomplish something. So once they get on your website, your copy, your sales copy, your navigation, your user experience, all of these things should increase that customers or audience or call lead or whatever you want to call it. It has to increase their motivation to take action and do something. So keep in mind that when you are doing these quizzes that we're going to talk about right now, you have to focus on motivation and, of course, the ease of taking the action that you want them to take. Because if you're creating friction on this on these quizzes, or you're making it too hard, or you're using different chatbots, you might yourself set yourself for failure. Okay, so this is Krakatoa Underwear. So what I like here, and I like the fact that they had this Forget Black Friday thing. So these guys are using pop-up, as you can see. They're asking me for my email, but they're also motivating me. So I'm here. If I was a guy, I was here trying to find myself some underwear, and I see that they're telling me take 20% off of your first 6 purchases only when you sign up. So if I want to buy underwear as a dude, obviously I want something that's comfortable, but I also want to not overspend on, it's not Victoria's Secret, right? So if you're telling me as a brand that you're going to give me 20% off on my first 6 purchases, that seems like a very low risk type of investment for me. So this causes motivation. Like I came on the website to find underwear. So this copy right here is giving me enough motivation to set, my email address. So I did. And then I got even more questions. So they are trying to find more about me. They are trying to understand what matters for me most in these products. They are trying to find out when I'm gonna buy. They are trying to find out how many pairs of underwear I have. So see, these questions here, what they're doing is actually for the customer, it helps the customer get to the decision faster, in the sense that I guess it clears up in their head, the process of decision making. Like, I don't know, do I need 2 pairs? Do I need 6 pairs? But having this direct questions coming to you is going to make you make up your mind. In the back of your head that you're getting 20% off for the next 6 orders, but you're also asked this question that can also, I guess, remind you what you're here for, what do you exactly need, and what you're looking for in, in the product that you are trying to buy. So you go through these questions. The friction is very small. There's not questions that are very intruding or questions that are personal or whatnot. But all this data that you're giving as a consumer when you're answering to a survey is called zero party data. It's data that you willingly share with a website or whatever. It's data that you give, including the email. We're going to talk about first party data as well when we go to the next section. But right now, the subscribers here, this is zero party data. So as you can see, they are taking all this zero party data from me. They're of course going to give me that code that I can use for 6 purchases. But at the same time, what these guys are doing, they're taking information about me and my intent, of course, because they're asking me when I'm trying to buy my underwear. They're asking me, what I'm looking for. So all of this is personalization data that can go into your CRM or Klaviyo or whatever you're using as customer attributes. So this is basically profiling me. So these quizzes can be used to profile a subscriber to understand their needs better, so you can further personalize their journey via email or ads. So there you go. They gave me the code. I'm gonna use it. This is how they increase the motivation for me. I did the action. I got my reward, and I'm happy. I'm gonna go buy underwear. But like the lesson here is that you should strategically use this website surveys or pop-ups or whatever, everyone had overlays, whatever everyone is calling them in a way this day. But when you're collecting the zero party data, make sure that you focus on creating enough motivation for a user to create, to take action and do the behavior that you want them to do on the website. But also you have to make sure that that behavior is not hard for them to perform. So the action is not hard to take, which is causing friction, which can make people abandon the action that you're trying to get out of them. So motivation, ease of use, and the call to action. This is very important, and they cannot work without the other. So like the data around subscriber behavior can turn into gold when you design your Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaign. It would allow you to segment your subscriber list and create custom campaigns around their preferences and interests. So the trust you have built around your brand and the personalized messages will increase the chances of generating that first purchase from your subscribers. So these are like leads that are already warmed up, so you're not just shooting in the dark. So if you're gonna go for these guys on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, make sure that you have this data collected about them. You're using these attributes, you're using these profiles of these customers and retargeting them would also help you spend less and concentrate more on quality versus quantity. I mean, you're asking for their email address as part of their purchase process anyway. So just make sure you capture the opt-in and pass that information to your email, your ESP for future retargeting. Because if you have also a solid welcome flow for the subscribers, your conversion might happen faster than you think. After all, in the end, actually, don't forget again that subscribers are way cheaper to acquire than new customers, and also more loyal. Cool. Now, to switch to the first-time buyers, we have to switch also from a data perspective from zero-party data to first-party data. First-time buyers can be very, very different. They can be people that bought from you for the first time, but they checked you out for a long time. They might be people that just found you today and decided to buy for you. It's complicated. But first party data, what actually really is data that people share with you when a transaction happens. That's why first party data is also called transactional data. So when I would buy from a brand for the first time, I would give my credit card information, my name, my email address, my home address. So this is data that I'm sharing as part of a transaction. So Black Friday and Cyber Monday campaigns can represent an opportunity for you to generate a second purchase out of these first-time buyers that you have. And you should think, this is also pissing me off. most e-commerce experts are advising that when you're doing this retargeting campaigns on the first time buyers, you should focus only on the ones that have a high order value. And I think that's bullshit. I think if you have new customers, like, let's say you have two customers, one of them spent $300 on his first order, the other one spent $30. There's no saying that the guy that spent $300 is ever going to buy from you again, as there is no saying that the one that spent $30 is not going to come tomorrow and spend, I don't know, 60 or 100. So the reasoning here and the logic here is that you cannot make these types of hypotheses on first-time buyers because you don't have enough data to back up those claims. So when it comes to first-time buyers, you have to make sure that you are using different criteria to put them, to either vote them in or vote them out. And I'll talk about that criteria very shortly. But to be able to make a decision about first-time buyers, you have to have, or buyers or customers in general, you have to have enough historical data sample to make sure that you're seeing any, some trends, or you're seeing some behaviors that you can at least directionally say, these guys are not good. So data shows that e-commerce brands, you lose 70 to 85% of their new customers just after one order. So this is an industry problem. It's so deep. Part of this percentage, of course, is natural churn. Natural churn is somewhere around 15 to 25% per year. So people just churn naturally after some time. But the rest actually represents customers that might have a high chance to buy the second time if they would have been, and this is like a lot of reasons, if they would have a good onboarding flow, if they would have a good customer experience, if the product was really good. Everything that happens, this is very important for you to know as a brand, everything that happens post-purchase is your fault. So it's the moment I put my card on your website and I'm waiting on my product to come, everything happening related to my order is your fault. It doesn't matter, like, even if, I don't know, the delivery guy was mad one day and he kicked the parcel at my door, it's still your fault. So you have to be very careful as a brand to make sure that you are very in tune with what happens after the first time someone buys from you. I advise a lot of brands, buy from yourself the first time, see how you feel as a customer to your own brand. And a lot of them that did this exercise had made very, very big changes afterwards. So onboarding campaigns are probably one of the most important, marketing efforts that you can do that will basically dictate how likely it is to retain new customers acquired, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or whenever long term. It seems right now that if you're an e-commerce brand or an agency that's doing this, types of services for a brand, you should definitely evaluate your flows and prepare in advance to maximize the outcomes of, being targeting this first-time buyers. But before you rush into retargeting them with sales and promos and whatever, you have to make sure that these first-time buyers are properly onboarded and nurtured. You have to measure their experience and fix anything you should fix before reaching out to them to invite them to buy again. So there's some criteria that you, as I was talking about earlier, there's some criteria that you can use to vote in or out first-time buyers that you would, after retarget on Black Friday, Cyber Monday via ads or email or whatever you're doing. So they must have a positive net promoter score. So they must have had a good experience with you, with your product. So if you have a bunch of detractors, a bunch of people that are angry and they hate your guts because your product was bad or because the experience was bad or, anything happened, you should, it's not might, you should probably remove them out of your list for retargeting. Also, you have to make sure that these people already received the product that they ordered from you before. So if someone buys previously to Black Friday and they still didn't receive their product, I don't think it's a great idea for you to target them on Black Friday with the same product, maybe at a lower with a bigger discount or with a discount or whatever, and try to get them to buy again, since they didn't even receive your product. So this is very, very important. And I cannot stress this enough, how many brands do not assign new buyers from their promos or campaigns, and those customers never receive their first product. So as a rule of thumb, as the best practice, assign all new customers that you have from any type of campaign or email or contact or communication through whatever channel that is not related to their order. They don't want to hear anything. They just want to get their shit. I order from you. I don't want to know what you're selling anymore. I just want to, get my product from you to see that, I wasn't scammed online, and, you actually are a company that, delivers on their promises. And the last thing that you should consider when you're retargeting these first-time buyers is to make sure that they do not have any open cases with your customer support. There's so many people that have issues after their first order. Like, I just ordered earlier a toy for my son, and this toy came without the top part of it, and it's like kind of useless. It's just like a wood cube. So I had to call, and I was angry, of course, because I spent money on it, and they gave me my money back and all. But like, if they would try to target me right now to buy another toy, I would be pissed the fuck out. So have to make sure that you collect this type of qualitative data. It's very important to not only think in terms of segments and, okay, you would put, I don't know, some sort of segmentation, but for the first time in the last 60 days, great. But make sure that their net promoter score is positive. Make sure that they receive, their order is fulfilled. And I know this is such a big issue that in Shopify, as soon as the shipping number is created for a package, the order is automatically marked as fulfilled, and it's not. So this can mess up a lot of your marketing automation software. So you have to make sure that you have a great order management system that can be the source of truth, and not target people that bought from you for the first time, but they didn't even get your first product yet. And obviously make sure that you check with your customer support. You should be able to have this data in your Gorgias or whatever you're using, Zendesk, and to not engage people that had a bad experience, or they have open cases with your customer support. So moving on, in the last bit that I want to share with you with this audiences is the Facebook lookalike audiences. So we talked about the fact earlier that due to the iOS 14.5 update, the data right now that used to be taken over and optimized by Facebook for lookalike audiences is very degraded. So if you would do classic lookalike audiences, you might have very big issue. And one of the best ways, again, to reduce acquisition costs when reaching out to cold audiences is to create these lookalike audiences based on the model of your best existing customers. So very important. This is something that, again, it came up with me with a lot of my previous conversation with different clients or prospects. Even if you do a lookalike audience campaign and you're using a template of your existing customers, the audience that you're reaching out is still cold. It's not a warm audience. It's not an audience that's ready to make a decision. It's a cold audience. So you have to make sure that your messaging, even if it's a lookalike audience campaign, should also be considered the fact that these guys don't know who the fuck you are. So make sure that you understand that lookalike audiences campaigns are cold audiences. So yeah, although you're reaching to these people that that might heard or never heard of you before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you have higher chances though to capture their attention, as they are similar to your loyal and happy customers. They have similarities in terms of different attributes. So the best way to do this is to create a list of valuable customers that you have, including those with a high customer lifetime value and high net promoter score. And you can do this either automatically using a CDP or an audience builder software, or even manually in an Excel sheet or a Google sheet by exporting this data from your store's backend. But again, as mentioned before, lookalike audiences that are based on a data source like pixel conversions or purchases or leads aren't being tracked correctly anymore. So therefore, the data source for many of your lookalike audiences is not working that well anymore, which reduces the quality of the audiences and takes your ad performance down with it. But There's a solution to it. So when creating campaigns for lookalike audiences, customer data is your best friend. So you can dig into past successful campaigns amongst your valuable customers and identify the products, channels, or approaches that work best for you, for your target audience. So once you spot this winning mix, you can replicate or adapt that campaign to win more customers like your best ones. And as you can see here, there's some more criteria that you can segment your customer data on. You have to make sure that you are looking at your highest CLV customers, the ones that have the highest customer lifetime value. And you can do this usually through RFM segmentation. RFM segmentation, though, recency, frequency, monetary value, that's what RFM stands for, looks at customers that looks at, it's a methodology used to find what are your most valuable customers based on recency, frequency, and monetary value. But this methodology, and trust me, I know I've been around this methodology, doesn't work for everyone. You must have at least 10,000 customers in your database for RFM to make sense for you. If you have less than 10,000 customers, think about something else. Use your basic, native segmentation in your CRM or customer data platform. Don't think about RFM because you're gonna overcomplicate what you're doing more than it was. But if you're a bigger brand and you have more than 10,000 customers, really swear by this method. It's very easy to find your best customers and to create these lookalike audiences. Mostly all the customer data platform, the CDPs, have this RFM segmentation feature at the moment. When I was talking about it, it was just a few. So right now, this is something that's widely used amongst the CDP platforms. So this is your best choice if you have more than 10,000. If you have less, stick to basic segmentation in Klaviyo based on recency. Like you can look like last purchase. For frequencies like orders per customer, and then for the monetary value, you look at the revenue that and more margin that each customer brought, and then using this filtering you can find the customers that you're looking for. Important is also to find what's your highest profit products, highest CLV products. Very important. There's always like when it comes to products, it's very interesting because sometimes you have like these two trends I really like and I really think you should consider is to look at when it comes to first-time buyers, you should look at what are the best customers purchasing first and then continue to be a repeat customer after that first product. But also you should look at what are the products that after someone buys them from the first for the first time, they never come back. So this way you identify which products are churning customers and which are the ones that are creating highly profitable customers. And then definitely find out what's your best channel. Like you don't have to be everywhere. If TikTok and email works the best for you, just go over an email or TikTok. If Facebook works best for you, go on Facebook. Like you have to identify what's your highest CLV channel or channels and make sure that you focus your efforts on them because you don't have to be everything to everyone. And then the CLV by location, which is very important for lookalike audiences. Make sure to understand which are the locations that bring you the highest value customers or where the highest value products are sold, and what channel was it used. And then the last step for this is to evaluate your best past cohort. So if you do cohort analysis, you will see all your past campaigns. There's a really interesting metric that you should look into. It's called second month stickiness. So the second month stickiness shows you how many customers from a previous cohort bought again in the second month. So this shows you actually the performance of the campaign, the capacity of retaining customers from the buying the first time and coming back in the next life cycle to buy again. This is going to be more I guess it's going to work better for CPGs or products that need to be replenished and reused. It's not going to be the same thing for if you're selling, I don't know, fashion or supplies or whatever. So always make sure that all the texts that you hear, even from me, even from other people, when it comes to what you should do with your brand, makes sense for your business model.